Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Dammer's Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy! Suitable here, and welcome to another online ladder battle featuring eumaies, who, if you've watched any of my videos, you know he has a great dwarf multiplayer guide out there. I'll leave a link in the description so you can go find it. It's an awesome read and fantastic. And we got another game of him playing against the Lizardmen. So in this build, it's actually a really interesting game. He's playing an extremely good player too, so kind of high level play here. We've got he's got a Rune Lord with just on foot and just the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin for his leadership. He also has a Runesmith with just the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. So really sort of a typical Dowie leadership set. In his front line, he has a Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, and I think 3 units of Longbeards. Yeah. And he does have out front here in a Vanguard deployment 2 units of Rangers and the Althar's Raiders. And we know the Althar's Raiders are so fantastic in this matchup. And in his back line, he has another unit of Longbeards, and he has a couple units of Miners for his flanks. And Miners are pretty good anti-large, and they're good in this. That all the dinosaurs have pretty low melee defense in general, but his heaviest hitters are back here. He has the Dragonback Slayers, who are amazing in this matchup, and he has some Giant Slayers and a cannon to really set that honeypot. Now, and he has a gyrocopter, just a regular gyrocopter, 700 gold to do some scouting to get some work done. Now this build he's facing up against has 5 red-crested skinks and 4 Saurus warriors down the line, a very, very wide line, and in that line is two feral Bastillodons. Now these feral Bastillodons are, I think, real cheap, like 650 gold, and they do cause fear and terror, and they are anti-infantry, I believe. That anti-infantry? You bet. Bonus versus infantry 15, so they have 37 melee attack versus infantry. For his leadership, he does have Mazdamundi on his mount, Zlak, and he has Banishment, which has a bound spell, Shield of the Old Ones, 22% damage resistance, plus 8 leadership, and 40 meter radius. He does have Apotheosis for the heals, Curse of the Midnight Wind, minus 30 armor, and minus 26 melee attack, which is very strong. Cold-blooded, of course, and Greater Arcane Conduit. And, of course, he also causes fear and terror. And I believe he has 2 units of Feral Cold Ones, or 3. 1, 2. Yeah, and just 2. And he has 2 Chameleon Skinks out here. No, 3 units of Feral Cold Ones. There we go. And 2 Chameleon Skinks. And these Chameleon Skinks are really for harassing Slayers. That's what they're there for. We will get things going because this thing starts fast. When you Vanguard deploy it like this, really he's gonna catch this unit out right away. And it is red crested skinks, but you know, he's just going to hit it as hard as he can. He's going to get his gyrocopters. It's really a game of focus fire, and it's really, really interesting with this sort of he's got a corridor like this, and his opponent's got to come way out and kind of make a little extra room. So he's getting first attack really on this red crested skink. Now here's a really nice play. So he's bringing in the Feral Cold Ones, and he's just going to back up his troops, and he's going to hit them with the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Now normally you might not think it's a good way to spend it, but it's a great way to spend it. You're going to avoid the charge, avoid these units getting mucked up, and he's got Althar's Raiders coming up. They're going to take some shots at this at these Feral Cold Ones, and he just wants to get them off the battlefield and routed. Really, he just wants to eat up sort of this side of the army as quickly as possible. He's got all his fire coming in, and he does have his gyrocopter back there shooting the back. He has shattered these Feral Cold Ones. Now, an even nicer move, he's going to pull back and pull his Rune Lord into the way. This is a really nice switcheroo. He stops the red crested skinks just in time to sort of get back behind his line. Now he's pushing out and he's trying to engage these red crested skinks. This is actually a nice counter move. He was attacking there, and it's really pulled these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and Runesmith way out. So this got a pretty messy frontline engagement, and you can see nothing much happening on this left flank. So he's going to come around, and this right flank, we still have these units that you can't see them yet. And we've got some red crested skinks on the way. So we've got the Shield of the Old Ones going here, and we've got these gyrocopters just going to work, shooting things in the back, and that's debuffing them by hit by artillery. And in the middle here, this Feral Bastiladon is going to work. We've got a Rune Lord, and we've got some shots going in. We've got the Feral Cold Ones, another group coming around this way. And you can see this is where they're going to be able to outflank and get into the cookie jar to the side, but there are Giant Slayers back here. So the cannons are shooting, trying to get them out of the way, and trying to just hold up with pure firepower and the threat of these guys in the back. But we've got a Feral Bastiladon into the corridors, and we're going to have these Feral Cold Ones into the Rangers. And you can see one shot, and they go out of control right before they get the Rangers and don't get the charge in the back. And now these Giant Slayers are going to be able to go to town. We've got these Saurus Warriors are being healed, and they're going up against the Dragonback Slayers. This is not where the Dragonback Slayers want to be. You want to keep your Slayers away from Saurus Warriors and stuff. So eumaies is going to try and get these guys out of here and into onto a better target, but it's actually not so easy to do sometimes. And they've got a little pocket here mucked up with 2 Saurus Warriors taking on 3 Longbeards. So his opponent's doing a lot of work. He's doing really well. Taking some shots at the gyrocopters, probably not the best place for them skinks to be shooting. I mean, you could argue that that's not too bad, but now things are starting to get pretty messy. We've got the Feral Cold Ones coming in the back. We've got some Red-Crested Skinks going to be on some Dragonback Slayers. You got the Giant Slayers coming to fill in, but now here the Chameleon Skinks are just going to go to work. All they're going to do is shoot at these Giant Slayers and then the Dragonback Slayers. They're just going to get free kills. This cannon is taking shots at point blank range. The Feral Cold Ones are fighting against the Rangers. We've got the Shield of the Old Ones here trying to keep this fight going, and eumaies has noticed he has a bad matchup here and brought these Longbeards back so they can start to really anchor this side. This side has sort of been collapsed, but he's got his, because his Ulthar's Raiders are getting beat up. He's got his Rune Lord, he's got Quarters, but he does have Dragonback Slayers and his Giant Slayers here trying to go to town. But in this mix is Red-Crested Skinks, and you do not want Slayers up against Skinks. Not the best matchup, and these Chameleon Skinks are just going to town. Right now he's trying to get rid of these Red-Crested Skinks, and they're coming against the cannon. He's going to take the cannon. He's trying to make a little bit of space so that he can get better shots with the cannon. He's got the Longbeards, and they're going to go to town. The Red Crest are much stronger than Red-Crested Skinks, and they're going to rout them right away. Got the cannon with a new position, and the cannon can start going after this Feral Bastiladon. Right now, Lord Mesdamundi is just, he's using his spells periodically and just running around, trying to stay away from the Dragonback Slayers, no doubt, and try to damage what he can. Now it's set up. You can see these cannons are just going to start, boom, point blank, going on these Feral Bastiladons. He wants to get them out, so he's got them routed, and he's going to keep shooting it until it is gone. So he's not going to let up on that. We've got the Longbeards back here. They can actually help defend this back, but these Giant Slayers are still getting beat up. One more shot, and these guys are dead. Now the Giant Slayers are going to come in against Lord Mesdamundi, but they're getting shot in the back by these Skinks. The cannons are going to shoot the Skinks a little bit, but Mesdamundi has to get out because the Dragonback Slayers and the Giant Slayers are on him, and they do not want that. The cannon is going to switch targets. Right now is going to go after this Feral Bastiladon. So it's interesting. He's going after the weaker targets first, one by one, killing them off completely. Over here, the Saurus Warriors are just going kind of toe-to-toe with the Longbeard. Just a very, very even matchup. You need something to swing it, like a couple of chevrons or some kind of spell or something. So this is generally going to be a stalemate unless something else happens. He's got the Longbeards coming over here, trying to get into these Chameleon Skinks, and the Rune Lord is into the Chameleon Skinks. He's got now Feral Bastiladon is gone. Another shot right to the face. That Feral Bastiladon, even though it's getting healed, is out. Time to get out of there. Now he can refocus onto Mesdamundi, and Mesdamundi is going to have a real problem because now he doesn't have all the support with these Feral Bastiladons. He's going to have to go after these himself, but you can see he's got 33 speed because the Dragonback Slayers have slowed him down enough so the Giant Slayers can also get on top of him. So this battle out front is resolved. The Longbeards have done their job and got rid of the Saurus Warriors. Have a few tattered units around here and there, and this is really not good for Mesdamundi. He's got the Dragonback Slayers and the Giant Slayers. He's got to try and get away and get that charge animation, but everything's focused on him now. You know, the Gyrocopters are going to try and chase off the Chameleon Skinks, and Mazdamundi has got to try and get away because he's only got 33 speed and the Slayer's got 40, so he's got to get a charge animation. So he's going to try and push out that way into these guys, and so you can watch. He's going to get the charge animation, and there he goes. He's going to run away, get the charge animation, but very surely he's not going to be able to stay there, and the Rune Lord is having no problem against Chameleon Skinks. Now this cannon is just had left. Now it's going to come back onto the cannon, set back up, and be able to shoot straight into Mazdamundi. We've got some Chameleon Skinks on the way back, and these guys are fighting, but this is just not going to go well. They're not meant for melee combat, even against weaker opponents. The cannons are going to get set up here, and as soon as they shoot into Mazdamundi, he's marked by Althar. He's got everything coming in. There's really no way he's going to be able to stand up to that, even though he's good. And there he comes into the cannon one last time for one last shot, and he routs. So a great, fun game, a really solid build. I love it. You know, I've been having a bit of a I've seen a bit of a conversation with eumaies and A-Move Hacker, who is also a Dwarf main, talking about the Lizardmen matchup, and I saw A-Move play in Turn's tournament, and he went up against the Lizardmen build that was very strong. Had one of the salamanders, the ancient salamanders in it. So this is sort of a topic of discussion, how to handle the Lizardmen build. And really, the red-crested skinks are nothing to be terribly worried about. And A-Move eumaies says that too. Really, the Dwarfs are going to win that infantry fight, and I think the red-crested skinks are generally not that great. You can see 80, 16, 27, 0, and 3. And you know, there were 2 units of miners. The Longbeards always perform in this matchup: 76, 51, 40, and 53. Here the Saurus Warriors always perform as well: 54, 25, 91, and 35. The difference really being the early use of that Rune Lord and Runesmith, and the Rangers. These guys got 50 kills. The Gyrocopter 71. I mean, I really want to put a Gyrocopter into one of my builds. I think I'm going to do one with the Brimstone gun, really to focus on. I saw A-Move's, he had a Brimstone gun one. It just got a little bit taken out, but it's really, really strong in this matchup, I think. Just the one-off. And he has a cannon, too. I like that. I really, you know, just a great build and a great match. And this is high-level gameplay here. And the Feral Bastiladons, 33 and 35 kills. You know, it's only 650 gold, and they cause fear and terror. The Feral Cold Ones are very good in this matchup if you can keep them from rampaging. As soon as they're rampaging, they're done. As soon as they rampage, they're done. That's it. And the Chameleon Skinks, I don't know. I've seen different ways to do this to try and tie up the Dowie back line. You know, would you be better with, instead of 1,200 Chameleon Skinks, so 2 Chameleon Skinks, using four regular skink cohorts, and just getting those 4 regular kink cohorts around back to muck up the Dragonback Slayers and the Giant Slayers? I don't know. It's hard to say, but there's some people are playing with Lizardmen builds right now, and we're seeing some difference. I felt when I saw the Lizardmen brought out that it was just more of the same. You know, maybe they're a little bit different to play, but not a whole lot. It just hasn't felt like that to me yet. Someone might find a fantastic build that makes me change my mind, but you know, just a great example of a really strong game here by eumaies. And again, love to hear comments. I love comments, and that's why I do this. This is my favorite part about doing this, is the comments down below. I will post eumaies his Dwarf multiplayer guide, which is fantastic. It's a Google document. Read it. It's really, really strong, very insightful, and very thorough and robust. It has builds and concepts and ideas, and you can see eumaies playing a very strong game against a very strong player like Pacifist Warlords. You know, quite a good player. So yeah, I thought this was a great fun game, and you know, similar, like there's some similarities from some of the testing that we've done in the early testing we did against the Lizardmen. Like, the Longbeards are just always so good in this matchup, no matter what you do. and Althar's Raiders, and of course the Dragonback Slayers, and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass we had in there early as one of the top units in the matchup, and maybe they should make a comeback because of the Ancient Salamander causing fire damage. I don't mean, are they immune to fire? I really don't know. Anyways, love to hear from you in the comments. With that said, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.